Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so Alex Endara out of Sarasota, Florida. I own Luxe Floor Coatings, which is a concrete coating business and epoxy flooring business, and we service basically Sarasota, the west coast of Florida, and the entire state, really.
When did you start this business?
Open since August of 2023. What is that, a year and a half, I would say? Yeah.
Before working with Cass Agency, what was the biggest struggle you were facing when it came to growing your business?
Yeah, so I mean, when we first start, obviously, you're investing a ton of money, you're running lean, and you're trying to do everything yourself. And in order to scale, it's just not possible. I worked with a few different marketing agencies to generate leads and run ads, and most of them just kind of didn't deliver, and really was disappointed in other people's services. And then obviously we started with you guys, and man, we've just been freaking to the moon ever since we started working with you guys. I mean, leads are flowing in, which is good, but what's more important is obviously having quality leads that convert to estimates, which we weren't really experiencing before. Um, so which has really propelled the trajectory of the business. I mean, we're on track this year to do multiple six figures, so we're definitely in the right direction since we started working with you guys.
Before working with us, what was the most frustrating part about trying to get new clients?
I mean, just the whole game of like chasing clients down, trying to freaking, people wanted an estimate, then you go there and, oh, let me think about it, and trying to negotiate on price, and, oh, well, this guy's doing this at this price, and basically just trying to deliver the value of what we do and close the customers, really. And then, obviously, as an owner operator at that time, before I had people, and you're trying to do everything yourself, that was the biggest kind of bottleneck in the business is okay, how can I focus on working on the business instead of in the business and really trying to grow,
Yeah, start delegating little by little and give, salespeople, your marketing team, and slowly just taking yourself out of it and give you more
Correct.
freedom.
hmm
Awesome. So how did you first come across Cass Agency?
So actually, it was one of your friends, man, the guy that referred me, the Google guy. And I was
Right?
like, well, I don't want to deploy, that type of funds in Google just yet. And I knew that if I worked with a quality, marketing agency that ran Facebook ads, I knew that I could turn the machine on and I would have leads flowing in like that week. And that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? So it was a quicker return, it was immediate. And for the short game to really get ramped up, it made more sense for me and my business.
Yeah, the ads get you going right away, whereas SEO, it does work, but it takes a lot more time to get the wheel spinning and actually getting leads, converting them. So the sales process is a lot longer. What made you seriously consider working with us instead of handling things on your own or hiring someone else?
Well, number one, the guarantee, right? Like, not a lot of people have guarantees. What really made you attractive to me as far as working together and partnering together was the fact that you had the guarantee, right? So, which tells me that I can trust you to deliver. And if you don't deliver, I still have that safeguard to be able to have my funds back. A lot of agencies, like, it's a lot of just BS, a lot of fluff, man. I mean, it was, you were right to the point and you did what you said and delivered on what you said, and which is huge to me. So that
Yeah.
was the main driver for us, for sure.
Yeah, and then if I'm not mistaken, we delivered on our guarantee within the first month, which was to a minimum double what you were set to spend with us over the next 6 months.
Yeah, depending on if if this job closes, we would like 5,000x our investment.
And we're
So
going to Mexico.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And be honest with me on this one. Did you have any doubts or hesitation before signing up with us?
Of course, man. I don't know. It's like, look, I'm investing with someone who I've never met. I don't really know, you know what I mean? And I kind of just, I'm one of those people that will give everybody, a chance until they prove me wrong. So, I mean, yeah, man, of course, at the beginning, because when you're first starting to develop a relationship with someone and you're trying to, figure out, how the systems work and is it going to work and whatever. But that's just kind of one of those things where you don't know until you try. So, yeah, of course, at first I was a little, hesitant to be like, all right, well, let's see, here's another marketing guy, let's see what he does. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, another marketing guru promising me the world. Let's see if he actually delivers on leads and leads that convert, yada yada, all that good stuff, right?
and again, I had worked with like three agencies prior to, coming on and partnering with you. So, I kind of just had a bad taste in my mouth as far as like ad guys, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, no, you were saying that you had a bad experience in the past, so committing a fourth time with an agency, really meant that you were serious about growing your business. And once you, trusted us and we delivered, I'm sure it was a big sigh of relief.
for sure.
Like once we started working together, what was one of the first things you noticed?
So one thing about me is organization and org charts, right? So obviously with the CRM that you implemented, it makes it super simple to move people through your pipeline as they come in and track things. And for me, obviously I have an account executive that essentially a sales guy that uses all that. So I wanted something that was user friendly, turnkey, and was very easy to organize, not only for me but for my sales team. So that was the first thing that really was kind of like, okay, this guy's got his shit together. Like this is, this is gonna work, and everything's organized. And then the second thing was like the maneuverability. So like if I needed something to be changed, I didn't have to wait like a week or two to have it changed. I'm like, hey man, I need, this bucket for people that maybe we're trying to nurture, or maybe we're trying to move throughout the sales process. Can you make this happen? And you had it done within like an hour, which is huge, because obviously when you have multiple clients and, you know, you're trying to delegate your clients and make sure everybody's happy. That was one of the biggest things for me is like, if I need something done, like it gets done. You know what I mean? And then another thing too, because like, and here's the deal. So in this specific space, right? Like a lot of the epoxy guys or concrete coating guys, all they do is flake. Okay. And everybody who does epoxy knows what that is. And everybody runs essentially the same ads, right? And 9 times out of 10, it's like this, it's different agencies like using other people's content and like kind of chopping it up. And I think the value for me was we took a different approach on the ads and giving the public something that they typically are not used to seeing. Somebody's going to see in the course of a day, they're going to see 5 to 6 flake ads, right? But then when our ad popped up, man, it's like they're like, oh wow, I haven't seen this. Let me check these guys out. And then once they see that, I mean, it's a definite close because the value's there versus price. You know what I mean? Because we don't really sell on price, we sell on value. So for me, again, like the content and like really taking your time to personalize it versus just throwing me in the mix with everybody else was another big driver.
How has working with us changed the way you approach growing your business?
It's changed the quality of our customer because you're taking them through a questionnaire to make sure that they're serious versus like, hey, click here to get a quote. Like they're actually taking the time to fill out square footage. They're taking the time to fill out what they want. So I think the quality of the leads that have been coming through is the biggest thing, propelled us into growth and just like the transparency, man. Like just like if things aren't working, it's not like, oh, well, let's run the rest of the month. Like, hey, if they're not working, then we change things. There's always like things in the mix. And that's been huge for us too, because when you're investing money and you want to see a return and you're not getting that return, it's pretty discouraging. And that hasn't been the case.
Especially when you work with multiple agencies that promise the same thing over and over.
Again, but that's why I feel that marketing companies have, a bad rep. And like, in my opinion, I feel like the landscape of marketing is forever changing, and I don't believe that there's one formula that works. I think that as times change and things change, and you got to be adaptable, and I think that's something that we've done. And with the companies that I've worked with, like they never even took any of my content; they just kind of like used their own stuff and just there was no real like consultation on like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, hey, this is what I think, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. It was just kind of like, let's just throw it out there. And like, there was no real like strategy behind it. You know what I mean? Like, which is concerning.
How has this whole experience changed how you feel about your business?
It's created less pressure for me and allowed me to work on other systems to truly scale. Because like when we were like when I started running ads myself, like I didn't know what I was doing. It was all beta testing. It was trial and error, man. Like I was going through the things and trying to figure out like, the different drop bars. And it's like, dude, that's just not for me. That's not revenue generating activity. And that's why I allow you, who's an expert in this space, to just handle it. And I can trust that you're going to do a good job. And like, if it's not working, then you're going to figure out how to make it work. So for me, it's less like stress as far as management goes because that's just one less thing that I have to worry about.
If you had to sum up your experience with Cast Agency in one sentence, what would you say?
I mean, dude, it's been positive, man. I mean, and transparent. It's like because at the end of the day, people will always forget what you said to them, right? But they'll never forget how you made them feel, right? So like making me feel secure and confident in what you guys do is the biggest thing, and knowing that I can trust you guys to do what you're gonna do and generate a return. But I mean, the overall experience, man, is like positive. And at the end of the day, like if you have a bad taste in your mouth with different marketing agencies and you're kind of bitter towards that and tainted towards like working with other people and you think you can handle it yourself and have an internal team, you're wrong. You know what I mean? You want to work with somebody that specializes in this space and they're the subject matter expert so that you can do what you where your expertise is and let them do what they need to do. You know what I mean? So overall, positive, man. I have nothing negative really to say at all.
If someone is on the fence about working with us, what would you say to them?
You have nothing to lose because you're already losing because you're frustrated now. So you have everything to gain by working with you guys because again, man, it's turnkey, it's ready to go. It's a solution to your problem, which is every business's problem, getting leads and closing clients. The more leads you have, the higher close ratio you have, the more successful you're going to be. And when you're trying to spin your wheels trying to do it all yourself because you think you're just like the shit and you can do it, well, you're wrong because you can't, right? Like focus on what you are good at, and that's like the business. You know, you're not a marketing expert. You do what you're good at and let other people do what they're good at. So if you're on the fence, like you're already losing. So what do you have to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, you have nothing to lose.
And then lastly, a little closing statement for us here. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your experience working with us?
I mean, look, overall, I would say 10 out of 10 positive. I mean, for me, again, I was one of those guys that were skeptical prior to partnering with you guys. I've been burned by marketing companies before. I wasted a ton of money, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in frustration and just burning cash every month. And at the end of the day, if you're going to put some money somewhere, put it in your marketing. And you guys for sure know what you're doing. And I feel very confident in partnering with you guys that we're going to freaking go to the moon.